So welcome to my reaction to the Season 8 premiere of Game of Thrones. Never reacted to the show before, so it's pretty exciting / daunting, because I don't really know what to expect from the audience and the fans who may be watching these afterwards. So that's kind of exciting, but if all I get is hate, then I just won't do anymore, but we'll see how it goes. I absolutely adore Game of Thrones. I've loved the show for quite a few years. I think it was during season 4 airing is when I started watching it, I believe. I've been watching it live since then. But yeah, absolutely adore it. It's just been so brilliantly written and acted, and it's just so captivating, and one of the best shows I've seen by far. And the hype surrounding it and everything, it really did live up to it when I started watching it, and yeah. It did take me a good few tries to get into it. I think I watched the first episode quite a few times because I was just trying to get into it, and then once it gets going, boom. So yeah, very, very excited to check out this final season, only 6 episodes. And I mean, there's so much in it that needs to happen and needs to get wrapped up. But I have faith that they're going to give us a hell of an ending. But yeah, going into this episode, given the revelations last season, I did do a recap and review of season 7. Didn't do reactions, but I did do a review, which I literally just remembered doing. So yeah, check that out if you can find it. But yeah, going into this, having last season end how it did, I just don't know what to expect. Because there's so much I want to happen, there's so many reunions I want. But at the same time, I don't know if we're going to get them all straight away, or if it's going to be like the very last episode we're going to get something, I don't know. Because I really want John and Aria to reunite, I really want Gendry and Arya to reunite. I want John and Daenerys to find out about, who John really is. I want Jaime and Bran to reunite, but you don't know who's going to be in what episode, you don't know what storylines they're putting on hold or may not even address at all, So it's very, very exciting just to watch the episodes, just to know who's going to be featured and what's going to happen, because you just don't know the order that things are going to take place, if they take place at all. So yeah, I'm just really, really hyped for this premiere. It's starting very, very soon, so I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen and how it's going to go down. It's been such a long wait, and yeah, I think it's going to deliver no matter what. But I'm just really, really hyped to see how they're going to kick off this final season. Very, very nervous, but very excited nonetheless, because it's been so long. But I think we're going to be in for a hell of a ride for this last season, so I'm really excited. There may be a few comments coming from this direction. I may be looking in this direction at some points, because my dad will be watching it with me. So he'll be sat there. If he says anything funny, he'll make the cut, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for this episode and to see how they're going to kick off this final season of a truly incredible show. So yeah, let's get into it. Oh, she thought he was dead. Yes. Make out. It's so weird seeing this lot in like a cold place.
Yeah.
Weird flex, but okay.
Look at you.
You're weird.
You're a man. Winterfell is yours, Your Grace.
We don't have time for all this.
Yep.
The Night King has your dragon. He's one of them now.
Oh.
The wall has fallen. The dead march south.
Or hello, as people normally say.
You left Winterfell a king and came back and... I'm not sure what you are now. The Lord? Nothing at all?
I had a choice.
Keep my crown, or protect the North. I chose the North.
What do dragons eat, anyway?
Whatever they want.
Gingers.
Last time we spoke was at Joffrey's wedding. Miserable affair.
Have its moments.
Savage.
We used to be taller.
Oh!
How did you sneak up on me?
How did you survive a knife through the heart?
I didn't.
Wholesome.
Needle.
She still has a sword.
Have you used it?
Once or twice.
Once or twice an hour.
Yeah.
I'm defending our family. So is she.
And my family too.
Don't forget that.
Daenerys is his family too.
First, I'm gonna fuck the Queen.
You want a queen? Earn her.
How?
Gross.
What would she do for the man who rids her of her treasonous brothers?
Damn. Oh boy.
I wanted those elephants. He might be the most arrogant man I've ever met. I like that. No, I want to be alone.
Me. Oh. Ah.
Is she gonna hit him? Oh, sorry.
Daenerys went north.
Daenerys will need someone to retreat from the
Over
battle.
this, yeah?
You want to go to Winterfell to fight for the Starks.
Do it.
Go.
What if the Seven Kingdoms, for once in their whole shit history, were ruled by a just woman and an honourable man? They do make a handsome couple.
I wish.
Nothing lasts.
Go on.
Ride the dragon. Please.
What if he doesn't want me to?
Then I've enjoyed your company, Jon Snow.
I like it when they give her funny lines. Oh my god. I would not have imagined this in season 1. So an ice spear just stabs one of them now. Nice little day out with your aunt. Bran just rolls up. Got some news.
Leave him be.
You're a cold little bitch, aren't you? Yes, that's why you're still alive. I mean, you look good. Once.
Get married.
Sydney. Here's my wish.
I brought 2 armies home with me, 2 dragons.
And a Targaryen queen.
Do you think we can beat the army of the dead without her? I fought them, Sansa.
I'll have to make some changes in the Citadel when I take my throne. A great service merits a great reward.
Fortunately, you burned his dad and brother
It's
alive.
something I could give you.
At least I'd be allowed home again. Now that my brothers are gone.
Your brother stood with you, father.
What are you doing out here?
Waiting for an old friend. It's time to tell John the truth. Now's the time.
I hope the old friend is Jamie.
I'm not talking about the king in the north, I'm talking about the king of the bloody seven kingdoms.
Surprise.
You are Aegon Targaryen, true heir to the Iron Throne. You gave up your crown to save your people. Would she do the same?
Oh boy.
Got blue eyes! I've always had blue eyes!
Oh.
The younger boy. It's a message from the Night King. We just have to hope the Night King doesn't come first.
Oh! Jesus Christ.
Not see his eyes.
No. Oh. That scared the crap out of me. Oh god, my heart is beating so fast. Made me jump as you going. I was like, what?
Who's that?
Jamie, probably. Yeah. Yep. Want a word with you? It's gonna end there. Ah! God, that kid terrified me. My heart's still racing. I think that was a really, really great start to the season, really solid premiere. So much happened in like an hour, and yet it still felt like a cohesive episode, which I think is a testament to how well it was structured in like writing and stuff, and how well paced it was. It flew by. Can't believe it ended as quickly as it did. But yeah, they threw a lot at us, and I got a lot of what I wanted already in episode 1, so that's kind of nuts. And also, it was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. It was very light-hearted in some parts. Like the scenes with Jon and Daenerys riding the dragons and stuff like that. There were always going to be like funny lines every now and again. But throughout the whole episode, there was a sense of like almost a calm before the storm, I think. Because shit is really going to hit the fan in future. So yeah, that should be very, very interesting to see where they're going to go. But I really, really love this premiere. I liked that they kind of just started off with probably what a lot of people wanted to see, which was, you know, Jon and Daenerys arriving at Winterfell, getting reacquainted with everyone, teasing a Jon and Arya reunion but not quite giving it to us straight away, Daenerys being introduced to Sansa and clearly not seeing eye to eye, Bran just killing the mood straight away because he's a creep, you know, it's Bran. And yeah, I just thought that was a really, really cool start. And at first, I think, when they first showed that little boy running through, I thought it was like, was this a flashback? Is this going to be like a young version of something? Is this going to be like a really young Ned or something? But then we saw Aria, and it was kind of revealed to just be like this kid, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I think it was the kid who was killed later on, so I kind of like that they kind of started with that. But yeah, I love that opening, because so many of the main characters are now centered at Winterfell. It made a lot of sense to start there, even though we like ended with the last episode having the Army of the Dead coming through and stuff. And I don't think we really got a lot of them in this episode. We definitely didn't see the Night King or anything, so they're continuing to just tease things, which I really like. But yeah, because lots of cool characters are now at Winterfell. I really like that we opened the whole season there, because it was a great way of kind of showing us, instead of just like telling us that this is who is where, and I thought that was really cool. And there are a lot of different kind of character interactions in this episode that I really, really enjoyed that we don't get a lot of. Like Gendry and the Hound had a scene together, and I really liked that, and I didn't know I needed that pairing. And then they kind of interacted last season a bit, but it was nice having like a one-on-one scene with them. So yeah, Sansa and Dany, I liked them finally meet. It was so weird seeing like Daenerys and Missandei and Grey Worm and all that in like a really cold environment, and seeing them in the north, I thought that was really cool. And just seeing Daenerys like sat at the table with Jon and Sansa was kind of nuts, in the best way. I think it just shows like the payoff that the show has after so many years, to finally get these like bizarre moments. Like these actors can share a TV show that they're both in and yet not have any scenes together for like 7 years. I think that's insane. But that's the beauty of Game of Thrones, I think. So yeah, the tension between Sansa and Dany I think could be interesting. I don't know if there's going to be a whole arc there with Sansa coming round to Dany in a similar way to I think Jon did last season. Well, he really came round to her more ways than one. And I'm very interested in seeing where they go with that, or if that's a tension that just never gets resolved, because they could easily just go that route as well. But I think Jon was kind of starting to, you know, win Sansa around to the idea of at least giving Daenerys a chance like he did. So that was cool. And I kind of... Jon is probably my favourite character on the show. I should probably put that out there. So I did kind of side with him when Sansa was getting a bit hasty and her just, like, attacking him for his decisions and stuff. I think he had a point. But yeah, I can kind of see why Sansa would be nervous about the whole thing. And I really liked that scene. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, I get too excited to talk about everything, but when Aria and John finally reunited, oh, I can't believe we got that in episode 1, very exciting. And, you know, Aria told John to remember, like, Sansa's your family. And little did he know that Daenerys is his family too, so who is he going to stick up for? That's going to be really, really interesting to see that kind of revelation get blown apart. So yeah, I love that initial tension, and there was tension still building, even though a lot of the episode I think was quite light-hearted and fun, and we had some really interesting interactions which I really liked. Like a Bronn and Qyburn scene, for God's sake. I love it. So yeah, I also like this idea of Jon being like torn between, you know, Sansa and Daenerys, not in like a romantic way, obviously. God, I hope not anyway. And then when Sam told him the truth near the end of the episode, and I can't believe it came from Sam and not Bran, that was interesting. I thought it was going to be Bran who told him. Also loved the brief Jon and Bran reunion and how fucking weird and a mood killer Bran was. Like meeting Daenerys, instead of just saying hello, how do you do? You know, oh, the Night King turned to dragon evil. You know, we don't have time for any of this, we're all doomed. Thanks, Bran. But yeah, now I think Jon's going to be torn over what to do with this information that Sam's just given him about who he really is. And I can't wait to see Daenerys find that out and see how she's going to react, because I honestly have no idea. You know, Sam kind of posed it to Jon, like, you gave up your crown, to, you know, for the good of the people and stuff. Would she do the same? And I really don't know if she would. I really don't know, so I'm excited to find out. So yeah, I also really liked how the start centred around Arya when she was like watching everyone come in. So she like saw Jon, and we saw her reaction to seeing Jon again. We saw her reaction to seeing Gendry again. We saw her reaction to seeing the Hound again. And then throughout the episode she reunited with all of them. And I think she may have reunited them in the order she saw them as well, which I really liked at the start. So that was wholesome. It was a surprisingly wholesome episode, which makes me nervous because you just know shit's going to hit the fan in the future. But yeah, her reunion with Jon was great. That little smile they did when they like ran and hugged each other, wholesome as fuck. And also, I love her reunion with the Hound. And he was like, "You left me to die." She just went, "I robbed you first." That was funny. But I think they do kind of have a mutual respect for each other. And then Gendry, my ship is sailing, I think. I think there could potentially be a Gendry and Arya romance going on. And I've wanted that for the longest time, so I am hyped as fuck if that actually happens. Because there seemed to be a bit of romantic tension there. Hope they continue with that, and I hope they don't die before something can happen. Because I'm sure one of them at least will die, because it's Game of Thrones, and it's the last season. No one is safe in the last season, for sure. So yeah, I loved Arya kind of reuniting with everyone. And then who else to talk about? Like, all my notes are just like lists of characters who appeared because so many people were in this episode. Not even everyone was in this one. Like Brienne wasn't in it. Podrick wasn't in it. There's quite a few like characters missing. But we don't need everyone in every episode, so I understand. Oh yeah, let's talk about Theon and Yara. I loved how Theon rescued Yara, like he said he was going to. Then they parted ways because Theon's going to go and help the Starks. I really like Theon's character arc and how he's kind of really come around to that. And I think he's learning more and more not to be the coward he used to be, which I really, really like. I mean, I think he's had one of the most interesting and successful arcs of any character, for me anyway. So I love that. I love that Yara just let him go because he did his duty and saved her and stuff like that. I actually thought they were going to make a bigger deal of that whole plot of Theon trying to save Yara. I didn't think it was going to be out of the way and so easy to save her so quickly. But you know, it is what it is. We only have 6 episodes to do all of this stuff, so I guess some story arcs just can't have the focus that others will. So that's fine. But yeah, I like that Yara's been saved and that little parting ways between the brother and sister I really liked, and can't wait to see Theon hopefully fight the good fight and probably go out fighting, because I think he's probably going to die this season. Well, who isn't going to die this season, let's be honest. I know I'm going to die this season. And also Euron, who was a big surprise for me in this episode, because he was actually one of my favourite characters in this episode. And I've never been a huge fan of him up till now. I've never really connected with him. I always thought he was just a pantomime villain, really. And I get that there is a place for that at times, but I just get more interested in villains like Cersei, who's quite calculating and cold and manipulative, and I really liked that. Whereas Euron's always been like over the top and mad, and I was like, okay, he's alright, I guess. Just a bit annoying. But I really liked him this episode. I don't know why. I don't know what's different about him. He still had those like ridiculously funny and weird moments. But I really liked the kind of interplay between him and Cersei. I think that worked really, really well with those two. Can't wait to see how Cersei kind of deals with Euron going forward. So yeah, there's something about him I really, really enjoyed in this episode. I mean, I still want him to die. I still hope he dies, because he's done some horrible things. But nonetheless, I really, really enjoyed his presence in this episode, which was a big surprise for me. And actually one of my biggest takeaways from this episode. Because I've never really been a fan of that character. So considering that I really, really liked him in this episode, and he's one of my favourites, is quite astounding, really. And then yeah, Bran just being weird mood killer. Interesting that he kind of put it upon Sam to be the one to tell John. He said he's waiting for an old friend, and I got it right. I said it was Jamie. Yes. I can't wait to see that interaction. Hopefully in the next episode, because I've wanted to see that for so long. Because Bran's just changed so much since that first episode ended, with Jamie pushing him out that window. I love that the very first episode of the show ended with a cliffhanger involving Jamie and Bran, and we kind of had that again in the first episode of the last season. I think that's quite nice symmetry. So yeah, Bran is just Bran. He's a bit weird now, isn't he? I mean, he's basically not even Bran anymore, is he? He's the Three-Eyed Raven, so yeah. Then Cersei, we didn't get to see as much of her as I would hope, but we have time for her to kind of get a lot more focus. Very interesting that she kind of allowed Euron's advances, and seeing her react to Euron's comment about putting a baby in her. At first I thought maybe she's like calculating this plan that because she's currently pregnant apparently with Jamie's kid, could she like twist this around and say it was Euron's kid? But then she looked like she was about to cry, so I think she's still kind of upset about what happened with Jamie, even though she seems to have sent Bronn on a mission to kind of kill Jamie and Tyrion. At least that's what I took from that scene. I think he mentioned like killing the treacherous brothers, and with the crossbow, because that's how Tyrion killed Tywin. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what they do with Cersei this season. She's a brilliant villain, so I can't wait to see what's going to happen with her, because Lena Headey's one of the best actors on the show by far. And then yeah, with Bronn, interesting task that he's been given. The actor who played him said like people might hate Bronn this season, and if this is his mission, I can see why. But I don't know if he's actually going to go through with it, because he's grown quite attached to Jaime and Tyrion in previous seasons. I mean, he saved Jaime's life last season when he was about to get cooked by a dragon. So yeah, that's interesting. That was an unexpected plot twist for me, to see Bronn kind of have that task thrust upon him. It could go either way as to whether or not he would try and go through with killing anyone. But I'm very excited for that. And I love the iconic trio of Tyrion, Varys and Davos. Davos is actually one of my favourite characters. I think he's easily in my top 3. He's just so wholesome and wise. And I honestly think he's probably second to John. So I love him a lot. And I really like seeing those 3 interact. I thought they had some really funny moments, as they always do. And I liked Tyrion kind of reuniting with Sansa and everyone. That little scene those two had, talk about how far they'd come and how long they'd been seeing each other. I really like when the show addresses the past like that and remembers that these characters did have relationships a long time ago. Just helps with the continuity. And yeah, so I really like that, especially when it's the final season. It's the last chance we're going to see a lot of these characters interact, you know. For all we know, that could easily be the last Sansa and Tyrion one-on-one scene we ever get. But you just never know. So yeah, I love those 3 interacting. I hope we get a bit more of that in the future. And then I actually really enjoyed the scene with the dragon riding. We actually got to see Jon ride a dragon. I love that so much. And I love how kind of funny that scene was. Daenerys had a few funny lines in that. There kind of seemed to be like a friendly competition going on when they were riding the dragons. Just seeing Jon Snow like riding a dragon is just nuts to me, considering when we first saw him in season 1, where he is now. It's kind of insane, that journey. But I loved all of that. A lot of people assumed that Jon would get to ride a dragon in this season, and I really like seeing them together. And I should not like the 2 of them together, but I do. But Varys said it best, I think, when he said nothing lasts, and that's very true, considering it's the last season. But yeah, I really like the dragon riding sequence, and I mean, part of me feels like it felt a bit out of place, especially the joke they had with like Drogon like just watching Jon and Daenerys kissing, being a bit of a creep in that respect. But I still think it kind of worked overall as a scene. It just showed a bit more of a light-hearted side to Jon and Daenerys, which I really enjoyed. Again, the calm before the storm, which I think is a big recurring thing about this particular episode. So yeah, I love that sequence. And then seeing Sam again and seeing him find out about, his dad and his brother's death. I thought John Bradley was great in that scene when he found out, and Sam found out the truth. And I like that Jorah kind of introduced Daenerys to the guy who saved him, but then we had that kind of whoa moment, because we knew that Dany had ordered charcoal Randall Tarly and charcoal Dickon Tarly. So yeah, very awkward scene, but I'm glad we kind of got that revelation. We actually saw Sam find this out about what happened to his family, and see Jon find out that happened as well. So there's a lot of things that could influence future episodes. Like, is Jon going to be really annoyed about that? Or is he going to be more distracted by the fact that he's the heir to the Iron Throne now? Who knows? But yeah, I really that. And seeing Sam again, and seeing Sam and Jon reunite after so long. I think it was like season 5 or something when they last saw each other. So that was great. Loved all of that. And yeah, Jon finding out the truth. It's going to be really interesting to see where they go with this, and see everyone's kind of interactions and reaction to this kind of big revelation. That should be very exciting to see. And then that final sequence with Jaime arriving at Winterfell and him seeing Bran, the look on his face when he saw Bran there. Loved that. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with those two. Because, I think that kind of shows that Bran isn't fully gone. Because if he was fully, he's the three-eyed raven now. Bran's dead. I don't think he would need to be waiting for Jaime, and apparently want to have some words with him. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with those two in the future, because I so glad we got that reunion already. So yeah, I think that's about everything I want to talk about, but a really, really solid start to the season. I really love this episode. Loads of different things going on, potential storylines that could go one way, could go another. That makes me really excited to watch more. Loads of different character interactions. We've got a lot thrown at us, but it didn't feel like it wasn't all developed enough in the context of the episode. I think it was, and it was really well written and structured, I think, in that aspect of things. And yeah, surprisingly funny and wholesome in parts. A lot of good setup for the future, I think, and you definitely get a sense that some stories are being wrapped up, you know, when you see Jaime and Bran reunite after all these years. So yeah, can't wait to see where they go with the next 5 episodes of this final season. But this is a fantastic start to, you know, season 8. Can't wait to see what's going to happen from here. Should be very, very interesting, very exciting. Oh, and also, fuck that kid that came back to life, or like that White Walker kid that got killed, and then, scared the shit out of me. So I'm glad he burnt to, well, not burnt to death, he was just technically already dead, right? But I'm glad he burnt. Ugh. Yeah, so it was cool seeing like Tormund and Ed and everyone at the end of that episode. Like that sort of interesting little sequence. So yeah, great start to the season. Can't wait to see what's going to happen next. And until next time, thanks for watching.